Yeah, it goes.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Freight Caviar Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Warp. Warp, master your middle mile. To master your middle mile, go to wearewarp.com. What are like some pet peeves that you deal with, or what are your biggest pet peeves when it comes to dealing with transportation providers?
I think the biggest one out there is the ones that don't do their homework in regards to before they make a call, right? Or they send you the spam email or the probing email, and it doesn't show that they've taken the time to educate themselves about the company. Having worked in the LTL industry before becoming a shipper, I know what the sales piece of that side of the business is. I know how competitive it is. And you always knew who your good sales reps were and the bad sales were just based upon how they educated themselves before they went into the customer. And so a lot of times I'll get a lot of emails around, hey, do you want to track your business? Do you know how to track your product? Do you want to use warehousing? And it tells me right there, you never heard Walmart before? I mean, 90% of the population lives within 10 miles of a Walmart store. And so you would think that they would go out and investigate, okay, Walmart has 95 plus distribution centers, most of them within 2 million square feet or greater size. So warehousing is probably not going to be something that we're going to want to do. They can go out there and look at a 10K for Walmart and see how much does Walmart spend annually in transportation. And you can see in there it varies from $8 to $10 billion a year in transportation spend. And so there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to need to take time to educate themselves on, that I can't go in and make a cold call on the largest company in the world the same way I would with a mom and pop or a guy that's needing LTL or a truck every 2 weeks, right? And so there's a big gap and there's a big difference in that. And I think that's probably the biggest piece, where brand new, ambitious salesman says, you know what, I'm going to go get this Walmart company. I've heard of them. And yet they've not taken the time to do that. So most of the time, the people that will call on a company the size of Walmart, you're probably going to have a national rep. You're going to really have your homework down in regards to what kind of company you are, what kind of carrier, what kind of assets you have, all those things, because we're going to go through and just scrub that whole thing first to make sure that we have, you're going to meet that minimum requirement. So, but that would be my biggest pet peeve when it comes to the sales pieces.
Okay. And then to follow up on that, do you have like any horror story, or like do you have like any story in mind, like the worst experience that you've had dealing with a transportation provider?
Well, I'm not going to name any names.
Of course,
right? I won't
no
name
names.
any names, but I will tell you that there was periodically we'll pull up some of these locations where it'll be open for a short amount of time, but you need a carrier to come in and provide the assets to make all the moves out of here. And the carrier says, hey, I can provide you 100 trucks. Okay, need those 100 trucks. Here's when I need them, and here's where we're going to do, and here's how it's got to go by. And we've had some of these main big events, you can imagine from a Walmart standpoint, where the carrier did not have the 100 trucks that they said they were going to have. They had like 5, right? So we're trying to broker out all this other kind of work, and they just couldn't do it. And you are trying to start shipping to a customer base like Walmart has, and you got a carrier that can't provide you the trucks that they said they would. And so that's really what pushes us down the path of going after asset-based companies where they can validate and show us exactly what they've had, because we've been burned a couple times in that type of format. So whether it's moving 100 loads of flowers for Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, or you got the big 4th of July cookouts taking place, or the Christmas surge, we've had those number of times of experience. I can tell you over my 20 years with Walmart where it's happened. So that's probably the biggest, without naming names, but it's happened more than once.